Yep, nice and easy. We're done with that though. The jump rope. Yeah. Whenever I skip rope, I can't use these wireless headphones. They fall right out of my ears. So of course, it would be helpful if I could get the rope itself not to fall out of my hands. Finish my protein shake and then we'll hit this. New name, who this? Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know me, my name is BullMuscle. For those of you who know me as Beer Battered Ag, yes, I'm going through a rebrand. This seems like a pretty good time to talk about that, so let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm a die-hard Aggie.
The eyes of Texas are upon you. That is the song they sing so well. Sounds like hell! So goodbye to Texas University. We're gonna beat you all to chigger-a-rim, rough, tough, real stuff, Texas A&M. Goodbye.
We get a little bit more all. So why can't I click all? Oh, yeah, there it goes. Nice. All right, let's do one more bronze bar. If you adopt the mindset, and this is a quote from Jacob Fisker of Early Retirement Extreme, if you know that guy, 10 points to you. But it's a quote that I find unbelievably poignant in today's era. Spending money represents a failure to solve one's problems by smarter means. I'm gonna repeat that. Spending money represents a failure to solve one's problems by smarter means. That's painful. But yes. Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Get ready. Today marks the beginning of Advent, and therefore the beginning of when I celebrate the season, so I am getting a bit more festive today. In other words, I may be throwing a Mannheim Steamroller song into the workout playcast just for fun. Just people don't understand why I think Nebraska is an above average state. Mannheim Steamroller is one reason. They're the best Christmas music, if you ask me. The only other close competition is the Vince Guaraldi Peanuts Christmas album. What more could you want? No, Bing Crosby. Gotta respect for Der Binger, as my grandmother called him. Ooh, okay. There we go. Morning, Abner. Welcome. AKA Bull TSO to some. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Yeah. No, that's valid. That's valid. I just have a real soft spot for Mannheim Steamroller in particular. It's that simple. Yeah, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is great too. For sure, for sure. I can't deny that. So, you guessed kind of what we're doing today. It's super squats again. We're doing this today, both days next weekend, both days the weekend after that. Ideally, we don't fail. That should, if things go well, put me at 335 for the final weekend. That would be pretty good. We'll see. I feel pretty decent, little sore, but not outrageously so. Now today, I think I'm going to go back to the way I was doing it. That is, I'm going to use a belt. Now I'm not going to do 3-second breath pause in between each one. I think I'm better off doing, just kind of going, kind of banging them out a bit more rapidly for the beginning, and then there we go. Banging them out a bit more rapidly for the beginning, and then really breathing like a steam engine on the last reps. Killer Hulk, that's a good name. Welcome on in. Remote morning workout with Bull. Yeah, welcome on in, y'all. But yeah, it's Advent, so it can officially be a little bit more Christmassy. Now, someone remarked that recently the lighting's been better, so because of that, I've just kept the lights off. If it looks too dark in here, let me know. I feel like it's pretty decent though. Hopefully we actually point the microphone towards me. That might help. I'm smart. Okay. So we've got behind the back shoulder press. This is 140 pounds. We'll start there. That's why. So I'm like, why is there no sound? I turned the volume of my headphones all the way down. That might be why. I'm smart. But he says no, it's not necessary to keep you guys this far back. Not yet. That'll be useful for rows, but I can bring you forward a bit. There we go. Might actually even turn the fan on as we get warmed up here. It is unseasonably warm here today. It is, okay, y'all probably heard that. Wow, that hurt and felt good. It is, it was on my wrist too recently. It's probably around 68 to 70 degrees in here, which is, for December, even in here in the deep south, that's a bit warm. It's not very Christian. Like to work out on a Sunday. Okay, we're not Jews, okay? Sunday is not necessarily a day of rest. Okay, and yeah, I make an excuse. This maybe makes me a bad Catholic, but it is a 30-mile drive across state lines to get to my nearest Catholic church. So, sue me. In a way, and maybe this is me just trying to rationalize it, I find that lifting, doing these workouts is a way to thank God for the gifts He's given me physically by trying to improve upon them. But again, that's probably just me making an excuse, me making a rationalization for it. Oof. Yeah. 41, but 41 is pretty normal for Texas this time of year. That's the difference. Like, it is, let's see, it is officially, 68 here. That is very, very unusual. 68 is like what you'd expect it to be this time of day in September. South Carolina's warm, but not that warm. Anyway, we got a set to hit here, so here we go. It's Christmas time again. All right, that felt pretty good. It was thick to 140 for today. Hey, welcome on in, Slevdis. Happy Advent. Glad to have you in. So, we are doing today, if y'all don't know, super squats. Bowser with the inverted pentagram. Power of Christ compels you. Look, I may not be a perfect Christian, I may not be a perfect Catholic, but nah. I mean, you are welcome to believe what you believe, but get behind me, Satan. I'm fucked up. I'm a sinner. I ain't perfect. I ain't anywhere close to perfect, but I still do believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and saves us all. And you are welcome to believe whatever you believe. I know the Bible talks about being evangelical, talks about, spreading the faith. For me, I would prefer to set a good example and let my actions lead the talk rather than let my words lead the talk. Words are empty. Ask any Southern Baptist the difference between words and actions. That entire fucking section's a bunch of hypocrites. Fight me, Southern Baptists. I've lived amongst you for fucking 8 years at this point. God, no. If you count the years at A&M, 11. Is there a place in the U.S. that has higher peak temperatures than Death Valley? No, Death Valley's the hottest. Now, because Death Valley's in the desert, it usually cools off a little bit more at night than places like far to the south of Florida. So there's a bigger diurnal temperature variation in the west, where it might get hotter in the daytime, but one, it'll be less humid, and two, it'll get cooler at night. Usually, not always. Sometimes Death Valley will be 95 at night. But yeah, here Death Valley's kind of nice around this time of year. I think the highs are like 90. 85? I actually don't know. Anyway. So you can probably still hear it in my voice. I'm still a little bit congested, still getting over the end of this cold. Definitely on the mend though. I feel better than I did on Friday, and I was able to do it Friday, so should be okay here. Joji, I saw you up in there. Thank you very much for the coming on in. But yeah, Slevdis, thanks for the first time chat. Welcome to the bullpen. If you like what you see, if you want to hang out, hit that follow button. So, something annoying that Twitch did. I'm going to do a set, and I'm going to talk about something annoying that Twitch did, because this bothers me. And I just realized I did not put a clip on this side. For some reason, I don't know why. I put a clip on the other side. What the hell am I doing? Alright. Yeah, it just does not feel like December out right now. It's not cold. It's not even cool. It's warm. It's like I moved to Florida or Hawaii. So one thing Twitch did really bothers me is they changed the interface on the stream manager setup, where used to be I could click on someone who followed me, send them a whisper, and every time I got a follow until recently, I would do just that and send them a little thank you note. This part of how I was raised in a conservative Christian Southern Catholic family. We believed in that as manners. But now I'm having trouble, sending whispers to the people who, that just recently followed. So that kind of makes me sad. Howdy, Crossbow. Welcome on in. You say it's probably El Nino. Maybe. I think it's just a little blip of southern air that kind of sneaked up from Florida, because it's supposed to get back into the 40s tonight. So I think we're going to get back to more normal temperatures. So my part of South Carolina here, December, the highs are usually around 60 to 65 degrees, kind of anywhere in there, low 60s, upper 50s. And then the lows are usually around 40, upper 30s usually. So for the high to be 72 today and the low to be, in the mid 60s, that's unusual. It's also been extremely humid here, which, even for South Carolina standards, which is saying something, which I really appreciate, because the humid air makes my throat hurt a lot less with this little bug that I've been trying to fight off. So I'm not complaining on that regard. All right. Got one more set of shoulders. We're doing great on these, by the way. So far I did 2 sets of 10. The shoulder's a little sore, I'm definitely feeling it, but it doesn't feel too bad yet, which tells me the bulk cycle's working on strength. I overate yesterday, even for my bulk cycle. 5,300 calories. I might have been a bit excessive. It's December. It's gonna happen, but I need to not be quite that crazy. I weighed in at 216 today, I think. You see, a French philosopher during the Renaissance period once said that hell and heaven are not realms you reach through a portal once your body reaches a certain state. Rather, they surround us every day and coexist. Around every corner you can lay your eyes upon. That's a very interesting thought. As a Catholic, I know where I'm going after. I pass away. The answer is purgatory, because while I do believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, therefore I will ultimately be saved, I have a lot of baggage, and I am nowhere near righteous enough to justify entry into heaven even close to immediately. So for that reason, I mean, look, I've admitted, I've talked about this on stream, between, just you take the 7 deadly sins, right? The cardinal sins. Sloth, I feel like I'm pretty decent on sloth most of the time. Wrath, definitely got a little bit of a wrath issue sometimes. I definitely lash out in anger more than I should. Controlling that's tough. Pride, 100%. Need to learn to be more humble. Gluttony. I mean, you'll just heard me say 5,300 calories. What do you think? Lust, yeah, I think I already said lust. Definitely an issue. Envy. I feel like I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty contented with what I have, but there are still times where I look at, other lifters or other people around me who succeed. I'm like, damn, wish that had been me. So, I feel like most of the time when I see people who succeed, I'm very positive, very upbeat, but no, not all the time. There is sometimes a little bit of envy. Greed, I can stand to be more charitable. I actually do have a little bit of money I'm going to be using on charities this month to try and hit my minimum spend, but there's definitely more work to be done there. thankfully, I think as I'm still operating out of a scarcity mindset in a lot of senses. So, I think I'm trying to get used to that, recalibrate. Somebody say pride. That's the same blood running in your veins. That's pretty good. Plus Ultra Eddie, how you doing, man? Glad you popped in. You still been streaming? I haven't seen you on recently, but I think that's more because, I don't know, we just happen to not stream at similar times. If you have, let me know. I'll give you a shout out. Purgatory is reserved only for the worst beasts according to the Bible. Purgatory is not actually anywhere in the Bible explicitly, which is why a lot of Protestants don't believe in purgatory, but a lot of Catholics do. There's a lot of the Apocrypha, a lot of texts written after the Bible discuss purgatory. Per the Catholic teaching, these texts were written by very holy men, and therefore there's a lot of credibility to them. A lot of Protestants say, no Bible, no count. And, well, even then, a lot of Protestants, Martin Luther, for instance, took out, I believe it was Maccabees. There were a couple other books that the Protestant Bibles don't have that a lot of Catholic Bibles do. So there's as is befitting of any 2,000-year-old text, there is going to be some squabbling over the finer points. But the general point between Christians is what matters. Do you believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God? And that by believing, you may have life in his name. Very, very simple. I am. I've been doing them in the evenings when the gym I lift at has the cool dramatic lighting on. Okay, well then in that case, let me give you a shout out. I always love it when other streamers hop into my... Oh, I didn't realize I hadn't followed you. I thought I had. Well, let me fix that right now. I always love when other streamers pop into my stream, so I'm very grateful for that. I feel like it's really dark in here today. It's overcast out. If you guys want me to turn the lights on, let me know. But a lot of people say the lighting's better when it's dark, so... Anyway, I got another set here to do. I'm doing super squats. Eddie, if you know what super squats are, yeah, I'm putting myself through that hell again. All right. Come on. I think that was 10. I lost count. It might have been 9. Alright, on the bench. We're sticking with 240. I feel the strength of Jesus during the pre-Christmas most. I think I do during Easter time. But I can understand why one feels it the most during the Christmas season. There's a lot of people have to complain about how Christmas has gotten commercialized and this, that, and the other. And it's very true. Business has turned Christmas into a commercial holiday more than I think most people would like it to, be they secular or religious. I think, but that's been the case for 100 years at this point. But I think people lose the forest for the trees in the sense that benching alone, no collar. A lot of really good stuff, a lot of giving, a lot of charitable actions, a lot of kindness occurs in the Christmas season. I think people, right, well, the Bible instructs us. In fact, Jesus Christ himself instructs us in the Bible, is quoted, as saying, when your right hand gives, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. I think I may have that backwards, but you get the point. The idea is, do your charitable acts not for publicity. Do them not for the clout. Do them not for the fame. God will reward you for it. I think there's something to be said for that. Do it because it's the right thing to do. I think that's the general message there. So, you know, I talk about, you know, I'm going to try and do a little bit for charity this year because I'm reaching the end of the year and I want to bump up my charitable numbers a bit more. But I'm going to decline to say what I'm donating to for now, and especially how much. I think that normally I'm very transparent with my finances. That's the one where, look, the good book is telling me not to. So if you have a very vile energy during New Year's Eve, it's a very unholy day in my opinion. Well, I don't think it's an unholy day. I think it's a similar day to Fat Tuesday, you know, where a lot of people justify, I wouldn't even say unholy or sinful. I would just say irresponsible, maybe, or vain action, because hey, it's the end of the year. I'll clean up my shit tomorrow. Very philosophical this year. How have I been? I've been all right. I've been kind of suffering from a cold the last week. I kicked most of it, but I'm still not at 100%. Bulk's going okay. It's still kind of early. I've only been bulking for a couple of weeks. I'm up to I weighed in at 216 this morning, so that's kind of positive. Very philosophical this year. Well, philosophy's always been kind of part of my channel. So this year, but I mean today. Oh, today, yeah. Well, I normally, what I talk about on stream is usually kind of dictated by the flow of chat. So PUOC has had some really good additions to the chat. You know, just talking about everything. So that's probably where it's coming from. I'm not. That's a credit really to him. With them, I actually don't know what PUOC's gender is, but the point is, you know, I kind of talk about whatever chat wants to talk about while I'm lifting. Well, I get thinking critically and deeply. Well, yeah. All right, so I need some music here. Now, talk about bands perhaps unfairly perceived as unholy. I was feeling some Black Sabbath this morning, so. I think a lot of people think Black Sabbath is like a satanic band. They weren't, not at any point, especially not in the early years. You know, there's a lot of imagery about the devil, a lot of imagery about hell, but it's not praising the evil. It's not. I really do. I like Black Sabbath. I know a lot of people have a problem with them, but they're really good. Your classic 80s rock? Oh, no. This is Black Sabbath before that era. This is 1970. I mean, I love 80s Sabbath too with Dio. No. We're talking early 70s Osbourne Sabbath. Real dark stuff. Just gunk coming up from the cold. Let's do this, come on. Strong like bull. I think that was 10. It's not bad. I'm trying to work up to 12, which is what the book says I should be doing. My bench is kind of falling on hard times this year. I've lost some chest strength, but it's to be expected a little bit. Smartin86, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. The chosen one. Oh no. This is, those gloomy, rainy, 40-degree days. Black Sabbath hits so good. Although it's gloomy, it's very overcast, but it's 68 right now, which is very strange. I appreciate that, P.O. Very kind of you to say that. All right. So Super Squat says, you should be able to complete this entire workout in an hour. And I look at that and I'm like, fucking how? It takes me closer to 2 hours to get everything done. Granted, a large chunk of that's because I'm I'm expending oxygen on keeping the conversation going instead of focusing on my breathing and really prepping for each set. Focus, lock in. Enjoy expanding ideas and thoughts. Eleanor Roosevelt had a really good quote about this. I forget how it went. I think it was weak men talk about people, average men talk about events, strong men talk about ideas. Something like that. There's a really good quote by Eleanor Roosevelt about that. And I think it's applicable here. All right. The leg drive a bit on that ninth one. Locked in there. So, one of the things I appreciate about lifting in particular is that it forces me to push my comfort zone. And I found that pushing my physical boundaries has helped me push my mental boundaries. I'm very sure about very little in this world. And I found that the deeper I go in terms of gaining knowledge on a subject, the more I learn that I don't know very much. For instance, one of my deepest knowledge pools relative to the average person is with nuclear power. Now, I can tell you firsthand through work experience that nuclear power is extraordinarily safe. However, there are times where I talk to the true experts, the guys that have been in the field since, Nixon was president, or Carter was president, or Reagan was president, and I find that I still have so much to learn. So that's kind of what I'm referring to there. Get a little Megadeth going. How apropos, we're talking about my job field. Rune, let's see, or is it Rune A. Nielsen? Is that right? Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. Thank you. Kansas Party Boy, good to see you. Welcome on in. So we got one more set of bench, 2 sets of rows, 2 sets of curls. We're gonna have the big kahuna. Today, it's gonna be the 20 rep squat set. The difference is today I will use a belt. And instead of the 3 count, I'm gonna kind of breathe as I see fit. So it's probably bang out a lot more reps, front load them, and take more time on the final. And I'm also gonna up the weight to 315. Rune Nielsen, well, thank you for the first time chat too. Follows are always great. Active people who come in and follow and stick around and chat, much better. I love getting to meet people, talking to people, right? And I love my little town here, but, it's a primarily elderly town. Not too many people my age, with my interests. How much weight will you be using for the squats? Today, 315. I think I can do it. I feel rested, feel complimented. 20 rep squats. Okay, so super squats is not your normal squat set, okay? Let me expand upon this. Super squats takes the idea of intensity replacing volume. Super squats is a low volume program. But the intensity, particularly on the squat sets, is so high that you're going to feel like you got a really great workout in. The idea behind super squats is you're taking a 20 rep squat set, but you're doing it at your 10 rep weight. For me, that's around 300 pounds to 315. Yesterday or Friday, I did 280, but I was doing it a little bit more deliberately, 3 pauses between each breath, which is going to put a lot more time under the bar and no belt. Super squats is the hardest. These are the hardest workouts I've ever done. It's not even close. Honestly, it's not fun. I'm glad I'm doing them because the effects are worth it, but I can only do super squats for a couple weeks at a time, and it's miserable. Like the nausea in particular is what's just, you just feel like shit going into that squat set. It's not fun. Anyway, I'm gonna do one more set of bench here, then we're gonna move to rows, curls, and then, as I said, the big kahuna. So, you're in the same type of town. Yeah, if you're from Kansas, you probably are, unless you live in, one of the few big cities in the state. Did something similar to Romanian deadlifts. If you're done, it feels like God himself gave you an absolution for everything. Yeah, feels like God is saying, bro, can I work in a set? Romanians are tough. But squats, for me, it's what it's about, really. So Super Squats talks about this. It's about the heavy breathing, the expanding the rib cage, the forcing oxygen into your system. Like the goal is by the final, really 5 to 10 reps, you're breathing like a steam engine. That's the goal. I certainly get to that point. All right. Let me lock in. The nausea, the dread, the nausea, like the 5 to 10 minutes before the set is honestly just as bad, if not worse, than the set itself. All right, last set on bench. I got the chest strength to do more. All right. In the United States of America. Tell me something. It's still we, the people, right? Come on. All right. So now we got rows. Real simple. So we do bent over rows for 2 sets of 15. The bridge guy doing 400 pounds front squats, 40 reps. Jesus H. Feel he's done for 25 judgment of the bar speed. He's another one. Yup. It's the breathing, yes. Yeah. It says heavy breathing. Right, so the reason you can do that, so is that the squat, unlike other exercises, you're capable of hanging out with the bar up top for a while. Such, you can allow your body to put more oxygen into the system. All right, make my belt. That's 15. Not bad, I think. Counting is hard. Yeah, the nausea is just kicking in at this point. I got pissed. All right. Doing the squats first, they're extremely fatiguing. Yes, that's not how the book says to do it. Or your erectors with rows, rest before squats. It'll be quite a while before you're 100% again. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take like at least 5 minutes before the squat set. Like I'm gonna go inside and take a shit. Because when you're operating at that level of intensity, the last thing you wanna have to worry about is accidentally crapping yourself, which I have seen. That's also why I'm wearing a belt on the rows. This is only 155 pounds. It's not that much weight. But because of that, you know, and because I'm wearing a belt, there's not too much on my erectors. That's a fair question to ask. I can feel myself shaking. I had some caffeine before this, and it's starting to hit now, is what that means. But keep moving. Come on, focus. That's it, that's it. I don't want to overexert on rows. Damage squats. Honestly, I think you're right. I might just shift squats to before rows. I don't see the value in this. I'm too nervous about the squat set to really commit to rows. All right. Bigger beers since I was checking you. I mean, I am bulking, so I hope so. The other thing, I like to impress and bench first because I want to get my heart rate up a little bit. Also, it's the caffeine kick in. It's 315 right here. Highly benefit. Smelling salts, oh for sure, for sure. I've used smelling salts once, but boy, they hit you hard. All right. So I'm gonna head in now. Use the bathroom. We're gonna hit this, okay? No. I'm gonna be facing that way and getting fresh air from the fan. I need every advantage I can get. I need oxygen. In fact, I'm placing you guys on the side view so you can check my depth. Also because, so I can check my depth whenever the stream's over. I can see what went wrong or what went right to try and fix or emulate that. So I'm gonna head inside, use the bathroom, and then we're gonna take this on, okay? So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay. All right. Real simple. I'm gonna psych up, and we're gonna hit this. This is going to be extremely difficult. I'm gonna get the plate set up first. So I've taken to, for my body physiology, I'm fairly tall, got fairly long legs, I'm 6'3". So it's helpful to have just a little bit of elevation on the heels. I feel nauseous right now. Feels right. I'm gonna get this, but just I can't really describe just the nausea is the worst part. This is worse than the actual set. So once you're locked in, you know, you're just gonna fucking go until you can't no more. But right now, it's the anxiety. It's just, this is not fun. Almost dropped the laptop. That would have been bad. That's a bit far. Maybe a bit too close. There we go. So, what you're gonna watch me do now is you're gonna watch me psych up, and we're gonna hit this. It may seem like I'm being dramatic. I promise you I'm not. Plug in the fan. Thank you for the follow, Diabolic. more minute. Bonus time. Oh, that's bad.
Jesus Christ. 4 more of those. Oh God. The cold makes it so much harder. I couldn't breathe deep. Oh. Diabolic Merlin, thank you for the follow. Train with Bruno. Thank you for the follow. I want to thank you. Joji, yes, it's my garage. My forearms are sore from that. My shoulders are sore from that. My upper back is sore from that. My lower back is sore from... Oh my God, my legs. Just holy fuck. I hate super squats so much. It's so hard. Fuck. I got 2 more weeks of this. I gotta do that. I successfully did 20 at 315, at least I think. I feel like I was starting to put my back into it on the last few reps, which is to be expected, you know, with the okay, starting to come back down just a bit. Fuck. Oh my God, it's so painful. What was I saying? Oh, with the intensity, somehow next Friday I'm gonna do that with 5 more pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to turn the lights on. It feels like, well, I don't know. How's the lighting, chat? Is it good? Like, is it too dark? I don't know anymore. I don't. I feel like shit. I do not feel good. That makes me want to puke. So, this is a new wrinkle. Last smoke cycle when I was doing these, I was only nervous to the point of nausea and anxiety before the set. Now it's before and after. I feel awful right now. But I know a set like that's going to put muscle on me. That level of intensity, the oxygen. All right. So I'm worried about it because I switched from having lights on to going lights off. Someone told me it was better. But thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Sorry, just all my anxieties and fears are running roughshod right now. I just don't have the mental acuity at the moment to hold them at bay. Oh. Okay. I can collect myself so we got calves next. I don't know how the fuck you were supposed to do this in an hour. My bad. I wasn't trying to be loud. Like, honestly, beyond about rep 15, it's if you haven't done these, you just don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, you do. About past rep 15, you almost, your mind just kind of enters a tunnel. Like, I said it before, I'll say it again. You guys don't exist. This garage doesn't exist. The house doesn't exist. The job doesn't exist. The worries don't exist. It's just simply a man and weight and a number. I'm only doing half of this program. Sounds like a runner's high. It's okay, so take a runner's high and condense it. Because that's a 2-minute, maybe a little more set. It's the same idea. The entire purpose behind super squats, okay, I'm coming down enough to be a little bit more coherent. The entire purpose behind super squats is just that. What kind of effort can you take, right? In doing your 10 rep weight for 20 reps, what you're doing is pushing your body beyond boundaries you didn't think it could do. So I've done 315 by 20. That is, normally 315 is usually my working 10 rep weight. So for me to hit that for sets of 20 that's on another level. The trouble, it's just the pain, it's just excruciating. It's so bad. We got calves. Let's do this. Let's go for, you know what? I'm going to go for the follow-up to my super squat song. Yes, there is one specific song I play for all those 20 rep squat sets every single time. Still shaking. This is 355, and we're gonna do calves. Now the whole point of this is to hit your calves, but that's ultimately secondary compared to time with ever heavier weight on my shoulders. The fact that I'm working calves on these on the calf raises is completely incidental. Why I'm doing this is to get used to just having a shit ton of weight crushing me. Because, right, that was 315 when I did the squats. This is 355. The whole idea is to make 315, 320, 325 feel lighter than it is. I'm really glad I went in to use the bathroom there because I 100% would have soiled myself. I'm not trying to be disgusting, but like just genuinely. It's that hard. Alright. Maybe down just a touch. There's this over here. Move these back on the weight tree. Collect myself, get all over myself. One more sip of water. There's a reason it took me 9 months to revisit doing this workout. What's nice is though, 2 weeks from now, once I'm done, I'm gonna probably do a maintenance and deload week. So I'm gonna dial back my calories, do a little bit more cardio for a few days, I might try max testing actually. And then I still haven't quite figured out my next move from here. I'll talk a little bit more about that after this set. Oh. It's 3:55. Oh my God. That was north of a minute under there. Jumpers jump on. Come on. Showing the radiator 73 today. Yeah, my local town's got a parade. I mentioned that in the title. Must these Englishmen live that I might die? Junkers young, four. It's ME262 by Blue Cult. Junkers young. It's a really great song, actually. It's well, where's it? 12 o'clock high. It's about 1945, right? End of the World War II. It was very clear Germany was going to lose at this point. And the song, but while Germany was going to lose, they also would come up with, frankly, one of the most brilliant planes of the war, but also one of the most misused planes in the war. The Messerschmitt Me-262, one of the first jet engines, or jet airplanes, ever to reach production. And I think it was that one, I want to say it's the P-47 Comet. Might not be 47, I forget what the number is. The Comet was the American one. But The ME-262 was a fantastic plane, but it was used inappropriately. It was used for, I believe it was used for, it was either used for fighting, like being a fighter, where it was supposed to do bombing runs, or it was used for bombing runs when it was supposed to be a fighter. I forget which, but it was Hitler himself who made the call on that. Even though the engineers who had built the plane were like, no, it's meant to be the other one. The ME-262 was a really interesting craft. If you've ever been to the National Air and Space Museum, I believe in Dayton, Ohio, at Wright-Patterson has an actual, as a captured ME-262. It's a fantastic plane. Honestly, a lot of the Luftwaffe's airplanes were pretty good. Some were absolute dogs. The Stuka wasn't very good. The ME-109 was a damn good aircraft. I'm not sure anything really ever is going to beat the P-51 Mustang for World War II aircraft. And almost every man has a favorite World War II aircraft, at least in the United States. I found is like everyone, like, you know, it's that meme. Everybody's like, why do men always talk about or think about the Roman Empire? We also talk about World War II aircraft. It's just a male thing. It's that and trains. Everybody's got a favorite. Like, maybe it's just the crowd I hang out with. Everybody's got a favorite train. Everybody's got a favorite World War II aircraft, and everybody thinks about the Roman Empire. Everybody's got a favorite Roman Emperor, too. Mine are in that order. Probably the DD-40AX. Either that or the Class 55 Deltic, the English locomotive. The Deltic wasn't reliable, but it looks so cool when starting up that I don't care. Favorite World War II aircraft is actually, for me, it's the P-82, the twin cockpit, which was mostly used in the Pacific, but it looks so cool that I don't. It has nothing to do with the capabilities of the plane. It just looks badass. Either that or the B-29, because, hey, the B-29 fucking ended it. Past World War II, one of the coolest toys I ever got was a light-up B-2. The B-2 is a cool airplane, but nowhere near as effective as the good old Buff. 100-year service life. God bless the big, ugly, fat fucker. The B-52 is a fantastic aircraft. Like, literally, like, the amount of shit collectively, like, the B-52 is basically the ship of Theseus at this point. That airplane began production in 1955, and it is going to continue to stay in service until the 2050s. Words kind of fail me on that shit, you know? How awesome is that? I don't know, maybe this is just me showing off my inner nerd. I mean, what'd you expect? I'm an engineer. Of course I think things like that are cool. Alright, you got another one of these for calves. I'm going to try a low bar squat position for this. I may not go as long, but I want to get used to that. You definitely feel it pretty much through my entire back at this point. Like it's not just like my erectors are sore. I mean, they are. Just like my glutes are sore, my quads are sore, my hamstrings are sore. But like my upper back, lats and erectors, you know, at or above the rib cage are screaming too. Other favorite locomotives, oh, so many good ones. The SD-40 is fantastic. I have a soft spot for the TGV as well. And I've ridden on a Shinkansen, so that one kind of goes without saying. That being said, while I appreciate electrics are better locomotives these days, I can acknowledge electrics are the way we needed to go because of climate change. There is nothing more badass than watching an old diesel locomotive fire up in the cold. It's fantastic. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna face this way this time. This way y'all can actually see the. Oh, hold up. Come on. God above, that is so heavy. Oh, let's see the stars. Come on. Oh, pull bars. Yeah, I lost count. Fuck. I'm gonna go with 12. Alright, I think that was 20. I lost count. Torture, mate. Who are the people hanging out with those things that have influenced you? I mean, I grew up in a military family, so. Fair enough. Now, I'm nerdy enough to where I will go and watch, videos of older diesel locomotives or even steam locomotives firing up. That's a beautiful thing to behold. Internal combustion's the way of the present. That's what I always say. It'll go by the wayside. But not yet. You need 10, 20 more years. They were saying, oh, we don't have 10, 20 more years because of climate change, blah, 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 blah. The alarmists on that are completely hypocritical. Because most of those same climate change alarmists say, what are you talking about? We don't need nuclear power. They're like, okay, then you're not serious about actually fixing the problem. It's disingenuous to say, we can, like the fastest way, right? The fastest way to slash carbon emissions is 5 simple things, okay? Really simple. Step 1, immediate and permanent higher fuel taxes here in the United States. Second one, streamline the regulatory approval process for any and all nuclear power plants, including licensing and development of new reactors. Number 3, make sure net metering stays going hard so that way we can continue building as much solar as possible. Yes, solar is part of the answer, but so is nuclear, right? If you want to go carbon free, there is still a lot of coal-fired power plants on the board. Number 4, carbon tax. You gotta have it. And number 5, and this is, in my opinion, probably the biggest one, multiply the spending on bike lanes by a factor of 10. And in doing so, change local zoning laws. So that way suburbs can have corner shops, so that way all you're doing, actually there's a 6th one, which is embrace remote work. Why we're not doing that is beyond me. It's fucking stupid. But you do all those, that's how you slash carbon emissions the fastest. You can do all of those overnight without crashing the economy. Very easy. More of the Star Trek science and exploration fish now. I gotcha. You missed the squats? Yeah, I'm afraid you did. But you can go back and watch them. I'll put them on the VOD, and I'm going to make a highlight out of them. But now, right, if you are of the mindset that global warming and or climate change, however you like to say it, is the biggest threat to the 21st century in terms of global stability, and I can make the argument that it is. I'm not 100% on that argument, but I can. You have to take a holistic approach. The trouble with it is you cannot sit there and tell me that if you believe global warming is going to cause the problems that the alarmist says it does, you need to take drastic action. And that means picking from what's best available, not the ideal. Yes, the ideal is that we go to wind, solar, and unicorn farts and nobody has to make any sacrifices ever. But that's not realistic. The fastest way to decarbonize is to make alternatives to coal, oil, and gas too much of a better economic decision to pass up. It means putting taxes on fossil fuels, and that means you don't even have to subsidize renewables. You just have to remove a lot of the red tape around them. Nuclear especially, but even wind and solar, there's a ton of NIMBYism and bureaucracy in terms of actually building renewables in this country. There's something like, I think 50% of what we need to decarbonize the electric grid in just wind and solar is gummed up in regulatory approval right now, and licensing, and permits. It's government that's the problem. God, I sound like Ronald Reagan. But it's true. Corporations aren't the ones, blocking, building new alternative energy production sites. It's government. It's NIMBYism in particular, and in particular, especially in blue states, this is where it's happening. You know which state has put up the most wind power over the last 20 years? It's Texas. Why is it Texas? Well, because the regulatory process to put up wind is a lot smoother in Texas. I'll give credit to old Governor Perry, fighting Texas Aggie Yell leader, class of 72. I don't always like to credit Rick Perry because he has some beliefs that I certainly don't agree with, but the man made the regulatory approval process for wind farms way, way lower. He helped build the Texas electrical grid to where electricity can flow from the panhandle where the wind is blowing all the time. If you've ever been to Lubbock or Amarillo, you know what I'm talking about, to the what's called the Texas Triangle, right? So that's the Metroplex, Houston, San Antonio, and all the areas in between, including Austin, Waco, Fort Hood, Temple, College Station, Bryan, etc., right? Resource scarcity. Yes, so now, resource scarcity and climate change are not the same problem. Climate change is a function of being too wasteful with the resources we do have. Resource scarcity is a population problem. Because you cannot sit here and tell the West, right, at a population of 8 billion, for our consumption to be sustainable, we have to adopt the average living standard. There's a living standard of the average Bangladeshi for that to work. Ask any Westerner if they want to live the way the average person in Dhaka does. I think you're going to get a hard, resounding no as the answer to that. So the only way to fix that is population. That's a really hard thing to say, but yeah, 8 billion. This planet, with the resources the modern world is consuming, the planet was never meant to hold 8 billion people. It's that simple. People we disagree with can still do good things. Yeah, I'm a centrist. Lord of the Ping, I think you're new to this channel, but okay, I got another set to do. I'm loafing. Let's get, I need, that'll work. I'm an engineer. I deal in practical problems. Ideology, sorry, not ideology, but being an ideologue causes a lot of problems. We're all on the same team. We're all on planet human. We're all on planet United States if you live in this country. We all want what's best for the country. We just have very different ideas about what does that. Frankly, this is my personal opinion. I believe the rich in this country and the well-to-do actually put a fair amount in how they're taxed. The exception of the top one, like 0.1%, who can afford the lawyers to get out of tax situations. However, what the rich do not do fairly is use government in the form usually of local government, zoning regulations, and in particular NIMBYism to dodge common sacrifices that are needed for the betterment of the country. In particular, in California, this is the biggest problem. You have wealthy NIMBYs in places like the Bay Area that refuse to increase density in their neighborhoods and in their homes. And it's not everywhere. There is, like, Emeryville is actually trying to, improve density, but Emeryville's tiny compared to the entire Bay Area. But most people in the Bay Area are unwilling to increase density, and when you have demand for housing in a place like that, where you can't expand land, there's no more land in the Bay Area. You're surrounded by mountains on multiple sides and water on multiple sides. There's only so much land to go around, and with the economy the way it is in the Bay Area, there's too many people and not enough houses. It's just a math problem. But a lot of the NIMBYs who own single-family homes that are worth ungodly sums refuse to allow increased housing. And it's in multiple ways. It's not just voting no in meetings and causing stirs in town halls. It's making abusing historical neighborhoods, right? Abusing the concept of what is a historic preservation and historic building. It's abusing environmental reviews. It's that sort of thing. Anyway, let's go. I got one more set of calves to do. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ow. God, my arms are numb. Oh, that's so fucking heavy. All right. Let's do pullovers. Come on, 15. 17. 18. 19. I think that was actually 19, I don't remember. 20. All right. Okay. So, oh God, everything is just in a lot of pain. Wow. My spine actually kind of hurts. Just from holding that, just getting crushed under that much weight. Like my spine feels compressed. I'm actually doing a dead arm hang just to kind of extend it out a bit. So how would you solve the population problem? Yes, I actually have some ideas on that. Because yes, it is a problem. At the same time, you know, people have the right to fulfill their biologic urges. You know, you can't just say, I don't believe in the one-child policy, right? The authoritarian way China did things in the 70s and the 80s, that's not realistic. But there are some other countries and other examples we can use from places you would not expect. I'll put it that way. Before I do that, though, I'm doing a dead arm hang. Just to decompress my spine a bit. Okay, that's much better. So, you should feel the dumbbell pullovers. Oh, absolutely. The key is to breathe really, really deep at the back end. I'm not working muscle. That's a really lightweight. It's only 20 pounds. The whole point of that is to expand the rib cage. Benjamin Highlife, thank you for the raid. Welcome on in. My name is BullMuscle, everybody. I do weightlifting streams. We talk finances, philosophy, diet, exercise, and the works. Anyway, as far as population is concerned, POC, I actually have a few. The first is that in the Western world, we've largely solved this in terms of birth rate. Most Western countries, and even some developing countries, are below replacement fertility. It's in the developing parts of the world where, in general, women are having more kids than is sustainable. Now, those kids are not consuming near as much because it's a less developed country, lower emissions, but more importantly, a lot of those kids, they're not having families the size they want to. Most women, no matter what country you live in, don't want to have 7 kids. Some do, but most don't. So the way you solve it, in particular, is to look at historical examples of non-Western countries and see, okay, how did they do it? And weirdly, one of the countries that managed to have their birth rate go from 6 to less than 2 in under 10 years was Iran in the 1990s. Now, if you know anything about Iran, since 1979, it's been ruled by an Islamic theocracy. That's not exactly the most progressive government in the world, to say the least. But if Iran could do that, that probably has some pretty good examples for how the rest of the developing world could do it. Moreover, women's education is correlated very strongly with lower birth rates. So in terms of charities or in terms of foreign aid, I strongly support improvements and access to women's education. Now, obviously, in some countries that are truly war-torn, the Congo, Sudan, there are priorities just feeding people and keeping people alive. That's more important. But in countries that are a little bit more stable, take Nigeria, that's where we as the West, and frankly, I'm sure even the Chinese would probably be supportive of this, or India or any other country is supporting women's education. So that's a really good example. Yeah, humans problem solve. Humans do tend to be more reactive, myself included. But thank you very much for Muscle Mercy, Benjamin Highlight. Thank you very much for the raid. Mr. Benjamin, I will give you a shout out. What were you doing today? Oh my God, my legs. We got one more set left and then I'm done. Shout out Benjamin underscore High Life. That's a great name. I like that. That's Benjamin High Life. Rating with a party of 9. Here, what were you rating? What were you doing today, Benjamin? I assume Benjamin's your name. But there are a couple other examples. So women's education, I'll give you a follow because you rated me. That seems only fair. A couple other examples to that would be, so women's education is a big one. Contraceptive access. Don't force it on people. Again, I don't agree with the authoritarian, we got to have one-child policy, two-child policy. No, just make it accessible, and that solves most of the problem. For instance, and by the way, if you're pro-life, you should be in favor of this as well because there's a very strong correlation to contraceptive access and the lower number of abortions. Now you might say, I think contraceptives are evil too, in which case, it doesn't really sound like you care about the baby. It sounds like you care about controlling women and controlling people's sex drives, but that's a different conversation. I'll leave that over at the side. If you are of the mindset that life begins at conception and abortion is murder, if you believe that, right, you got to say, okay, which is more evil, right? Using contraceptives or killing a baby? I think that one's very obvious as to which is less evil. And, and this is where I say stop being so idealistic. You've got to pick the practical solution. So if you're pro-life, you should be extremely pro-contraception because you may say, well, that's a sin, but it's a much, much less grave sin. I think most pro-life people would agree with that. I think the soft solutions won't be enough. Well, there are more. The other one is, and this one is a very, very thorny topic, but healthcare is a good in shortage. Always has been, probably always will be. And we need to adopt a triage care solution. In the United States, in particular, we spend a disproportionate chunk of our healthcare expenses on the final 3 to 6 months of people's lives. I'm not saying, just let them die. That's wrong too. But I think in avoiding lawsuits in particular, we in this country try to do too much in the final months. And oftentimes all it is extending people's suffering. And I don't think that's wise. I'm not a medical expert, but I think I've talked to enough doctors who echo similar sentiments. As far as the 8 billion big picture, yes, that is, right. You can't just start mass killing people. You're not going to have pogroms. That's unintelligent and that's barbaric. You can't do that because everybody on this planet, in my opinion, is entitled to life. I mean, that is right. That's in the Declaration of Independence. Is every Enlightenment thinker that built the United States anyway. As an American, I believe in life, liberty, property, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, life is kind of at the beginning of that. So if you're on this population, you deserve to be here just as much as I do. I don't deserve to be on this planet any more or any less than anyone else on this planet. But it's about, you got to affect the rate of change. And we're beyond the point of preventing climate issues. That's going to happen no matter what. The best we can do, right? I don't deal in the ideal because it's not worth dealing in. It's about pragmatism. Anyway, so we got one more set. We're gonna do Romanian deadlifts. And to do that, I need to just put this here. Now this feels so light after doing 355 for calves. It's only 215. Just all I'm doing is setting it down, but it feels like a hat. Okay. I just have to say that because it's just interesting, All right. So what did I do Romanians last time? Okay, so I did do 250. So we need 255. So that's going to be a 15 and a 5 on each side. Okay. The other thing, so, right, it needs to be kind of an all of the above type factor here. You know, if you cut consumption and you lower birth rates, you're going to avoid the worst of it. You know, what we need is a long, I think, given that I think most people would like a Western living standard, I think the ideal number of people is probably, somewhere around the 1 to 2 billion range as opposed to the current 8 billion range. But I recognize that just saying, oh, we need to, kill 75% of humanity overnight, that's idiotic and also barbaric. So what you want, I think, and this will take centuries, is a long, slow population decline. Elon Musk in particular is one of these pro-natalist people and says like, oh, Japan's going to be extinct in 100 years. No, Japan is still going to have a robust and large population. It'll just be smaller than it currently is. If you've ever been to Japan, Japan is a country about the size of California, but most of the landmass is uninhabitable. It's active volcanoes, or it's extremely steep. So Japan is built very densely and also very efficiently. I think if Japan loses a little bit of that density, they're gonna be okay, for instance. Japan honestly very often tends to be kind of what the rest of the developed world is gonna look like in 10 to 20 years. So we need to learn from the Japanese, both in what they are doing and what they're not doing. Okay. All right, so this is bar 125, 215, 245, 255. I want to hit this for a set of 15 on Romanian deads. I need the right song for this. I think I'm actually going to go progressive here. I'm going to go Watcher of the Skies by Genesis. I don't know. And Elon Musk is a really smart guy, in my opinion. But there's stuff I do and don't agree with him on. I do not understand how a guy of that intelligence thinks that population decline is going to be a major issue in the 21st century. I just don't see it. Even if the world loses 10 to 20% of its population between now and 2100, ideally due to natural causes, we're still going to be at the same population level we were around the year 1995. That's not a bad thing. Whatever solution there is, the bulk and focus should be on the third world. This will lead to the biggest changes worldwide. Exactly, but that's going to be women's education is the biggest one. Contraceptive access is the biggest one, and learning from countries that have managed to lower their birth rates very rapidly over a small number of years. Again, I'm pointing to Iran here. And first off, I think the government in Iran is tyrannical and extremely malicious. But that doesn't mean, right, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to look at Iran and say, okay, this is an extremely militantly conservative even country that has managed, they managed to drop their birth rate extremely quickly. How did that happen? How did they do it? Is there anything to be gained from that? You've got to be a pragmatist. This is, a lot of people, Henry Kissinger died this week. A lot of people are going to just say good riddance and write him off as an evil person completely. And there is a lot of problematic and frankly evil shit he did. But that's, again, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Not everything Henry Kissinger did was evil. And there's a lot of sense in terms of what he did that was practical and necessary given the framework that he was operating. You gotta remember, okay, Richard Nixon takes over the White House in January 1969. What was happening in January 1969? You're at the peak of the Cold War. Détente hasn't occurred yet, so you're in an arms race with the Soviet Union. However, the Soviet Union and China are having major butts of heads, right? You've got a war raging in Vietnam that you didn't start, but that is now your problem. You've got, China, at this point, China became an atomic power in 1964. The Soviet Union stole they stole our homework and became a nuclear power in 1949. So you've got two nuclear powers, both of which are ruled, one is ruled by probably the single most evil human being to have ever existed, Mao Zedong. The other is, while nowhere near as bad as the Stalin years, ruled by an autocrat and a tyrant, that's Leonid Brezhnev. That's not a good combination. That's a combination where shit can boil over and you've got nuclear war that the United States wasn't even involved in on your hands. That's catastrophic. So you've got a mad situation that you're not a part of, that's scary. So you have to operate under that framework. Avoiding nuclear war is the number one. If you were a Cold War Secretary of State, avoiding nuclear war was the number one priority. So everything, all policy beyond that, Cuba, Vietnam, Chile, whatever, you have to operate under that framework. Doesn't necessarily justify what Kissinger did. A lot of times it actively doesn't, but it's important to view things in context. It's the same problem I have if people say, oh, well, Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner, so the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are useless, worthless documents. It's stupid. No, you can separate the good from the bad and view things in historical context. Anyway, Watcher of the Skies by Genesis. Let's do this. This is the last set. My hands are sweaty from all the, my central nervous system is what's shot at this point. But yeah, you're not going to get, I will say, I think most fitness Twitch streamers don't go into that level of nuance. Yo, Dodge, if you're still here, could I beg you for some more water? You don't have to, but that would be really, really awesome. All right. Oh, I love early 70s Genesis. I love the drumming at the beginning of Watch of the Skies. People forget how good a drummer Phil Collins was. All right, Romanian deadlifts. The point is the eccentric motion here. It's not about explosiveness. It's not about pure strength. This is only 255, so that's not the point. All right, come on. Come on, you got this. God. Hands are so fucking sweaty. Much better. Losing my grip. I was only 12. Fuck. Alright, I'm done. The central nervous system shot. I can't feel my hands. The strength is there for more of it. And thank you. Thank you. Welcome on in, Lana. Good to see you. I got abs to do, but we're gonna take a moment. Just my central nervous system shot. Just pain. It's effective, but God, super squats hurts so much. I need to just start doing these opposite hand grips, to be honest. I know, they say double overhand grips to move, but I feel like I'm sacrificing gains by not having strong enough grip strength on a double overhand. Video only at the moment, so no audio. I have to head out and open the gym. Thank you for thought putting ideas in conversation. I appreciate that. Oh, now the lizard shuts down. This is the end of man's life. Give me with a. I'm gonna start with something easy, just basic bicycle sits. I know your shit be stood. No mercy has the sea when you stood. Three, four, five, six. Oh. Oh God, I want to die. That's a good super squats workout. This is just painful. Watch your skies, watch your ball. Till the long finish your own. Oh, we got a new follow. I will give you a thank you for a moment. I just gotta. It's just unbelievably painful. Test 0 in dead. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. Glad to have you on board. I actually have a little bit of a headache right now. It's been that difficult. But that was 315. It went down 20 times. It went up 20 times. I mean, I did it, but God above, at what cost? 3 exclamation marks. Well, hey, always love it when the new followers actually post something in chat. Welcome. Good to have you. Test 0 in dead. Yeah, I always try to say thank you for all the new followers. I used to be able to whisper thank you messages to every new follower, but Twitch changed their UI on the stream manager, and I can't do that anymore. It makes me sad because I like doing that. Oh my God. Oh. But just my entire back is killing me. All my legs are killing me. I feel like my groin muscles are sore. All right, I'm gonna hit another ab set. There's no excuse for cutting it short. 60. Oh my God. Looking good. Pretty sure coming in for a raid. Oh, was it Benjamin? Was it Benjamin Highlight? I already gave him one shout out. We'll play a little bit more prog. Have a little musical box by Genesis. I'm feeling early 70s Genesis this morning. It was Benjamin. Oh, cool. Welcome. Looks like most of the raiders from that stream are either lurking or they left. The viewer count's kind of back to where it was. I figured out how to fix that, by the way, which is great. Now I can see how many people are in here. I'm happy to have you in here, though. Welcome. So, I do weightlifting streams. I talk diet, fitness, exercise, but I also talk philosophy, financial advice, and financial independence. Really anything the chat wants to discuss. This is an 18+ channel, so if you guys want to ask more explicit questions, as long as it doesn't directly break, Twitch TOS, don't tell me to whip it out, like, that kind of thing. Otherwise, ask me whatever. I'm very, very happy to talk. It also buys me time between sets because I'm fucking dying here. Here it comes again. Play me my song. Here it comes again. Oh. I'm gonna do raised leg sit-ups. My abs are actually in pretty decent shape. They're pretty sore, but they are recovering. It's my central nervous system that's shot at this point. I can feel like the tingles in my toes and my hands. It's just the central nervous system put a ton of stress on it today. Doing those calf sets for 355 after the squat set, it's a lot of strain. It's a lot on my back too. I feel like I may have overdone it. That in particular feels like it's making my back hurt more than normal. I don't know. I'm gonna go back and watch the tape. I may have started around my back on the final couple reps, maybe 2 or 3 on the squat, and that may be it. But it wasn't hurting until after I did the calves. Oh, we're done. We're just doing abs. Oh my God. I'm supposed to do 60 there. That was only 32. Finish. Fuck it, superset, come on. Oh shit, losing balance. There we go. Oh my God. Oh. Hey, Kansas. Yeah, we're done on the weight. All I got is one more set of abs, and we'll do Q&A. Well, we're kind of already doing Q&A, to the point. It's making it harder. It's 70 degrees in here instead of 55. I prefer to work out in colder weather. What is fitness? 3. I got one more set. Holy fuck. Por favor. I got better hands than Kansas City receivers. Ricky Rosberg, thank you for the follow. And welcome, thanks for the first time chat. How are you doing? She is a lady. She's got time. Brush back your hair. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I like prog rock. Lazy Sunday. Anything but lazy for me. Squat set damn near killed me today. She's a lady. She is mine. Your head. Yeah, 70 in here. I'm dripping. I'm pouring sweat. You nervous? Thank you. I never ask for it, but I'm always very grateful when I get that. Thank you. Hold a rocket, good to see you. For so long. And all the time has passed me by. It doesn't seem to matter now. And there with your mixed expression, casting doubt on all I have to say. Why don't you touch me? Touch me, why don't you touch me? Touch me, touch me. God, I love early 70s Genesis. Now, 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 now. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh my god, this hurts. All right, we're done. Final guitar solo. Anybody who thinks Phil Collins was the better frontman in Genesis is fucking delusional. Da, 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 da. You go listen to the musical box and tell me they were not a better band in the early 70s than they ever were with Phil Collins at the helm. The first two Collins era Genesis albums were great, Wind and Wuthering, Trick of the Tail, but go listen to any of them. Trespass, Nursery Crime, Foxtrot, Selling England by the Pound, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and when they had Peter Gabriel as their frontman in the early 70s, Genesis was revolutionary. How low did I cut? Let me check. I can actually find that out. So I do official weight measurements every Friday. The lowest I ever weighed in at was this year, 201.8 pounds. I cut to about 12% body fat. Right now I'm probably floating around 15. I'm hunched over, so maybe it looks like I'm fatter than you are. You like Huey Lewis in Huey Lewis and the News? Where's a little too new wave for my taste? Sports kind of 83. I think it really came in their own. Personal artistic, clear press pound. Gives this song's a huge boost. He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but you think Huey Lewis is more cynical than Elvis Costello? Elvis Costello was already pretty cynical. Given the choice between the two, I'll take Elvis Costello. No offense. But Huey Lewis in the News it's fine. It's not my cup of tea, but they're not bad. Oh my god, my legs. Just standing up and moving this, it's so painful. In general, my favorite bands tend to be progressive rock. There's one or two exceptions. But yes, Pink Floyd, early Genesis. Now Genesis as a whole does not make my top 10 because I detest 80s and 90s Genesis. But like Invisible Touch is a garbage album. We Can't Dance is somehow even worse. Calling All Stations is crap. And I don't mean anything. I don't mean disrespect to, the three soldiering on in the later Genesis years. So I'm sorry. It's just it wasn't even that they're that bad. Okay, We Can't Dance really does suck, but it's that this is the same band name that was producing works of pure genius like Supper's Ready, Dancing with the Moonlit Night, and Firth of Fifth, and you're going to tell me that they've been relegated to Invisible Touch? Like, come on. I love Rush. There's another one. So let's see. I'm thinking about my top 10. Probably 3 or 4 out of those 10 are progressive. Definitely Rush. Definitely Pink Floyd. Definitely Yes. Shoot, it might just be those 3 now I'm thinking about it. There's a ton of progressive rock acts that are very close to, but not in my top 10 now I'm thinking about it. Led Zeppelin's not progressive, but my favorite songs of theirs are. Like, you take Achilles' Last Stand and tell me that's not a prog rock song, I'm gonna be like, not so sure. It's got time changes, it's a 10-minute long song, like, all the markers, like, Achilles' Last Stand is the most progressive Led Zeppelin ever got. Same thing with Queen. Queen isn't progressive all the time, but like a lot of their work you could claim it is. Like, hell, I would argue Bohemian Rhapsody, that's literally rock opera. I mean, that's pretty damn progressive. That's some shit a prog rock band would do. My favorites are, I think I've ranked them before. I think it goes Yes, Pink Floyd, The Clash, which is, I know, weird, but they're kind of the thinking man's punk band. I love I love the Clash. Even though politically I disagree with the Clash a lot of the time, but I love their music. Rush, ZZ Top, those are probably my top 5. And then it's probably Van Halen, Motorhead, Alice in Chains, Led Zeppelin, and then Queen. Other bands that come really close for me though, Frank Zappa, King Crimson, I am in a lot of pain right now. The Allman Brothers, Molly Hatchet, Blue Oyster Cult. I'm currently listening to their discography. It's going up fast. I like Blue Oyster Cult a lot. Kansas. See, the problem with Kansas is like Genesis. Their 70s stuff was brilliant, but then you get into the 80s and it goes downhill fast. Soundgarden, definitely the Rolling Stones up there. Yeah, I know that's so normie, but like, look, you know, even if you ignore everything but their golden era, which is, in my opinion, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, and Exile on Main Street, those are 4 just terrific albums. All 4 of those are excellent. I'm still shaking. Like Metallica, like Megadeth, those 2 I'll put on pretty heavy in the gym. The best songs ever describes life from the absurdism point of view. Yeah. You know, it's hard not to put the Beatles up there. They're not my favorite act, but, you know, I can really anything off of Revolver, and I'm a very happy camper. The Moody Blues, they're up there too. I listened to the entire Moody Blues discography, and I will say Moody Blues is not everything of theirs I love. And I don't think they ever quite hit the level of magic that they did on their first album. The Moody Blues, Days of Future Past, is probably the most revolutionary album of the 1960s, and that's a hot take, I know. But everybody says In the Court of the Crimson King is the album that started progressive rock. I disagree. Days of Future Past started progressive rock, the idea of a concept album, you know, the idea of a very thematic piece, using unconventional instruments with rock and roll. The works. You just listen to the entire album. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Days of Future Past is probably one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. And I will fight on that one. It's Sgt. Pepper, the original Doors album, you know, the first Velvet Underground album, you know, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn by Pink Floyd, all great albums released in '67. After Bathing at Baxter's, I believe, for Jefferson Airplane, you know, the original Jimi Hendrix album, fantastic. The lot of them, terrific. But Days of Future Past is, in my opinion, the best, and the most consequential, and the most revolutionary. It's incredible what the Moody Blues did with that album. Because you go back and you look at the Moody Blues, they actually released an album before that. It was mostly like skiffle and Motown covers. And then they go and drop Days of Future Past. Incredible. Perhaps the best sophomore album of them all, now I'm thinking about it. It was their second album, not their first. Rock, My First Love Ever, metal, classic, progressive, punk, post-punk, etc. Incredible wealth of depth artistry. I love a lot of different forms. I like rap too. Even some country is pretty good. Bluegrass is probably the most underrated genre. You really don't understand bluegrass unless you live in the deep South for the most part, or you live in Appalachia. And most people just think, oh, bluegrass and country are the same. They're the same genre. They are not. Bluegrass is I think the biggest differentiator is that you will hear. It's not just which instruments they use, but the level of interest. I think bluegrass is banjo forward in the same way that country tends to be guitar forward. Now that's not a 100% absolute, but I mean, you just go listen to anything Flat and Scruggs put out and tell me that's the same thing as George Strait. They're very different, I think. don't even live in the U.S. Yeah. So, most people out of the U.S., you put bluegrass on, they'll say, oh, that's just country. No, it's not. I disagree. It'd be like, to me, it'd be like putting on Little Richard and putting on Slayer and telling me they're the same genre. They're really not. They have similar roots, sure, in the sense that they come from the same region of the United States, but even then, they really don't. Bluegrass comes a lot more from the foothills and in the mountains of Appalachia. So that's going to be upstate South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, eastern Tennessee and Kentucky, West Virginia, western North Carolina, the panhandle there of Virginia, even into Pennsylvania, although not quite as much. And then, country is going to be a lot more Arkansas. Arkansas does bluegrass too up in the mountains there. But, country, when I think of country, I'm thinking Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Although Louisiana, you got the Zydeco, I don't know how to say that, but that's Cajun music, and that's an entirely different world. But like in general, when I think of country music, I think Texas, Oklahoma, Mississippi. Whereas, bluegrass, I'm thinking Kentucky. First and foremost, I think of bluegrass. If Kentucky isn't the first state on your mind, it's either that or them or West Virginia. And Dodger, you should know this firsthand because you went to college in not just West Virginia, but rural Sticks, West Virginia. You went, you were down near Beck. That's the coal mining country. That's absolutely bluegrass territory. Oh, Mississippi, you can argue Mississippi is the home to country music, to blues, to R&B, to gospel, to rock and roll, to even rap in a sense. And of course, you got the Delta blues. People like to crap on Mississippi, but in terms of musical contributions, I'm not sure there's a state that has given more in terms of musical contribution. Maybe California. Maybe California. But people sleep on just how much Mississippi has given to the world in terms of music. Hell, like When the Levee Breaks, one of my favorite and arguably one of the more progressive songs from Led Zeppelin. That's an old Delta blues song that they completely reworked. It was a Memphis Mini track. 1, 2, 3. Double biceps for SS Coop. There you go. Just got booked for MagFest, especially video games at Woodstock outside of Washington, D.C. Yeah, you're talking about Magnolia Fest. That's right. Well, Mississippi being the Magnolia State. So, oh my God. So this is the Q&A section of the stream. If you guys want to ask anything, I also, one of my more active members on the Discord suggested that I have a whiteboard, and so we now have a whiteboard that I can use. It's a bit warped, but it'll work. That I can use to talk about stuff. I've also got the book if you guys want to ask about what kind of workout I was doing. We can go from there. So just a little bit more as far as the Q&A is concerned. But yeah, we're chilling now. I'll probably go for a few more minutes. If the chat doesn't have any questions, I'll probably have to raid someone. But so bluegrass covers of 80s and 90s music, everybody an absolute blast. Hell yeah. That's I remember you telling me that story. It's pretty good. So I got a fair amount of calories to eat today. That's gonna be fun. Drink a whole load of milk. How's the rabies situation in the United States? It's a strange question. The same it's been for the last, I don't know how long, decades. It's fine. I don't think most people are in danger of getting rabies. It's an odd question. here. So I'm going to the town parade today for Christmas. That'll be fun. Most of Europe has eradicated rabies. It'd be hard to do in the United States because there is no region in Europe that is quite like Appalachia. In terms of size, Appalachia's massive. You know, one rabid animal bites another, and you have that entire region, let alone, and that's not even putting the Rockies into count. So I think we're managing it, but I don't know. POC, I forget. Are you UK? I forget what country. I know you said you're in Europe, but it's hard for me to keep track of who's in what country. That's difficult because I stream in the mornings here on the East Coast. Usually that's afternoons in Western Europe, and then that's evenings in Asia. All right, I'm gonna lay down for a bit. Just let my back decompress. Because my back is sore. Stretch out a little bit. I hate stretching, but I need to do it more. So, this chat's pretty quiet today. I'm surprised. The numbers are high, but chat itself is a lot of lurkers. That's okay. My streams of all first world countries have to deal with rabies, that's all. I think POC, you have to remember, right? The animal population in the United States, because the United States is much lower population density, it's a lot harder to manage. Not to mention, I'm not sure most of Europe, well, you said most of Europe has eradicated rabies. I'm sure you go over to Eastern Europe, you know, Belarus, Ukraine, it's gonna be a lot harder. I'm not sure all of rabies is gone. It may be a whole lot better, but we haven't completely eradicated it yet. Good to see you. That's cool. I'm gonna do a dead arm hang. That's gonna help my spine. I think I overdid it on the calves. Just trying to get used to the heavier weight. It's probably a mistake. So, 2, 3. The whole point of this is not doing anything other than stretching out my back. I don't have the grip strength to do it. The deadlift just shot my grip strength. Fuck. All right. Give me just one moment. I've got to pee. Oh. Be right back. Give me just 1 second. Thunder Gun, good to see you. Give me just 30 seconds, y'all. Better. That's so much better. Walk is looking good. I appreciate that. We did 315 for 20 reps today. Just about kills you. Follow-up question, what's your neck size? You know, I haven't actually measured it. I could, but the tape's in the bathroom. So I'd have to... actually, you know what? I've got an idea. See if I can't do that. I have an idea on how I might actually be able to measure it. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, what's my neck size? Let's find out. So I'm going to use this boxing wrap. I'm going to measure it with a tape measure. So, you know, Adam's apple to Adam's apple, over okay. I'm gonna flex it a little bit because I feel like that's how you're supposed to do, is kind of look forward. Okay, so it's that point right there. Okay, so it's that long. Just gotta keep from here to the end. Says about, give or take 20 inches or so. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I know what my other measurements in general are. I need to go into the mirror and do them. Most recently, chest was floating around 44. Waist is floating around 34. Thighs are floating around 25, 26. Biceps are floating around 16. Butt, like glutes, is floating around 40. I don't know what other measurements you're looking for, but there you go. I'm so excited. It's Christmas now, or it's Advent. I think you measured quite loose. I might have let it slip. I'll measure it again. I can do it a second time. Measured quite loose. So, see here, okay? It's wrapped around. I'm just measuring it, or I'll tighten it really. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I may have measured it too loose. Let's try it again. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah, I think you're right. I think what I may have done is accidentally let it slip and stretched it out too much. I said, I am a big dude. I mean, I'm 6'3". This is imprecise, I'll admit. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is a little bit more accurate. Saying about 17 and a half, maybe 18. Because I had it pretty tight there. So probably somewhere between 17 and 18. I mean, you know, right, like, take a look at this. You know, I played football for a lot of years. I've lifted for 15 years. It's gonna make sense. I've got a fairly thick neck, right? And I'm doing this looking not up, but like a little bit. Maybe that's making it. Actually, I don't know. I was kind of, just doing this. And I got really big hands, and I could do that. Almost the 12th man. I wish, dude. No, there's a very big difference between me and guys who can play Division I football. I'm nowhere near that level of strength. Okay. Right, what I'm putting up here, a 20 rep with 315, that's some shit maybe, a quarterback might be doing in the gym at a D1 school. If it's Jalen Hurts, that's probably what Jalen Hurts was doing in high school, Okay. So, let's see. Oh, I got something from fam here. What are they saying? That's cool. Mom sent me a video. Apparently, they're getting all the whales and the sound. She's up near Seattle, so it's kind of cool. That's cool too. She's slightly irritated at me because I told her what I paid for gasoline here, and really I didn't need to buy that final tank, but I'm ending the year on a full tank of gas. I've spent $75 on gasoline this year. That's it. That's kind of neat. And I don't have some fancy, super fancy car. It's just a basic old, it's a 6-year-old Volt. It's a very simple, easy to do thing. My Volt is somehow older and has fewer miles for now. You're catching up. I'm just a touch over 90, and you're already well into the 80s. Yeah, it was a government. Yours was a government car. Don't know what agency, but it was a government car. You got it at a surplus sale. Let's see. I think we're gonna look to raid someone. Unless Chad has further questions. It looks like y'all are pretty good on all that. Let's see who we got. We got Interactive Fitness, Bam Bam, Zigo Commando. All right. Yeah, we got a few people. Yeah, I might do Interactive. I haven't rated him yet. A bunch of different 3-letter agencies. Sounds like my car's cabin could talk. Yeah, I bet. Oh. So, let's talk schedule for a moment. I'm going to be live Thursday afternoon with a gaming stream. Friday, we're going to be lifting in here. Saturday will be a rest day stream like it was yesterday. Sunday's going to be like, really, what we had this weekend, that's going to be the next 2 weekends. And then we're going to change it up a bit. At that point, we are going to switch programs. I'm really excited about what program comes next. I haven't really decided. There are a couple, watching Alexander Bromley's channel on YouTube, dude is a freak. Like, he's, to put it mildly, really fucking strong. But he's also really knowledgeable. He's done a lot of studying. Like, he's gone to conventions and just listened to the experts of their craft, guys in their 50s and 60s who were power lifters or Olympic lifters or strongmen when they were younger, and listened to what they had to say and really started crafting his own workout program. So I'm gonna look into what Bromley's been posting. I was watching a video of his that's talking about 70s powerlifter and 70s bodybuilder type workouts. Because back then, see, the thing is, right, I'm not training for a competition. I'm not a competition powerlifter. I'm not a competition bodybuilder. I'm an amateur who likes lifting and wants to see himself get stronger and in better shape. So under that paradigm, I like the idea of those 70s powerlifter or 70s weightlifter programs, because really until the 80s and the 90s, bodybuilding and powerlifting were somewhat joined at the hip. Powerlifting itself is a very, very recent sport. Like, it's not very old. The only old sport when it comes to just pure strength is Olympic lifting, right? We've been doing that for officially since 1896, the first Olympics in the modern era. But, the Olympic lifts were performed far before that. They didn't just appear in the late 1800s. But bodybuilding's sort of the same way. That bodybuilding really only became a thing kind of after World War II. Powerlifting kind of, circulated around there. So really into, through the 70s, a lot of the guys who did one were also kind of doing the other. Until you get to guys like, where it kind of bifurcates is like you have Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of went more the bodybuilder route. That was 70s and early 80s. And then, you have the powerlifters. And now there's a very big difference. The bodybuilders are the guys who have 2% body fat. They have vascularity everywhere. But if you put them under a squat rack with the powerlifting level of weight, they would get killed. They'd get crushed immediately. And then the powerlifters are the guys who look like they drink 12 pints of beer a day. They look rotund. They look like almost that they're fat, but they're built like brick shit houses. And if you get close to one, you realize, oh my God, that's a lot of muscle. And they're the guys who can put up way higher numbers. It's very simple, right? You can build more muscle when you're in a bulk than when you're in a cut. And if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to cut a large chunk of the time. You're trying to remove that fat to get the most definition possible. So I like a balanced approach, right? If I'm not a competition powerlifter and I'm not a competition bodybuilder, I shouldn't restrict myself to just doing one or the other. I like the aesthetic of a bodybuild, but I like feeling like I'm getting stronger, which I like when I do, bulk, I put on more strength. It's as simple as that. So I tend to bias my workouts more towards powerlifter style stuff, strength building stuff when I'm bulking, but I don't, I don't think I'm ever going to do a 5-3-1 style program where it's just extremely heavy weight, practicing that single rep just to get the number up that much higher. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, it would be amazing if I could just deadlift 500 pounds tomorrow. PR's 440. I think I could get there, but I don't just want to sacrifice everything else, just focusing on that and let myself lose in other areas. So it's that sort of thing. Feels like a wind tunnel today. In here, are you talking about the audio? Damn, I wish you had said something earlier, if that's what you're talking about. It shouldn't be. The echo shouldn't be any worse or better than it is normally. I haven't changed anything. Hell, my fan's not even on, so I don't know what's going on there. But the idea, right, future workouts, so I'm going to do super squats for 2 more weeks, and then I'm fucking done with that. Super squats is very valuable. You get more, I've gotten more strength out of doing super squats, just a couple of weeks. Oh, okay, just here or there in Kentucky, I gotcha. Just a couple of weeks, I did super squats for 6 weeks last January, last February of this year, and I'm doing it now for 4 weeks, but only 2 workouts per week. So it's 18 normally. You do 3 days a week, 6 weeks. I'm doing 8, so that's 4 weeks, 2 times a week, and it's still extremely difficult. But you get a lot of value out of that. But it's really what super squats is best at, is challenging just how strong, how much you want something. It forces growth, but it is the sensation of getting crushed. That's what it is. So where I'm going with all this is, I think after I've completed the amount of super squats I'm going to do, it's not the full workout, it's not exactly by the book, but sue me. I'm going to go with probably one of Alexander Bromley's 70s powerlifter style workout programs. He's got a couple, so I'm gonna have to figure out which one I want to run. I would love to deadlift 500. That would be really cool. Or at least at bare minimum, deadlifting 475 would be really dope. It'd be really great to be able to say I have done something at 500 pounds. I don't think I'm ever gonna get. Well, I know my bench will never get there. I need to take gear to get to a 500-pound bench. I'm pretty sure. And then I don't know. I feel like a 500-pound squat is probably very close to, if not at, my natty ceiling. I think I've still got a long way to go before I hit that natty ceiling, but I feel like that'd be pretty close. Deadlift though, if I'm already at 440 and I really haven't, if I bear down, I'm at 216 today, body weight. If I get to 235 by February, March, I feel like I might be able to put up something really good. Maybe, if not 500, then definitely 475 or 480, which would still be pretty great to be able to do. So that's kind of, I think, my goal. I think I'm going to do I'm going to do one of those 70s weightlifter programs that Bromley's got on his channel or on his app. And then I'm going to try and pick one that's biased a bit towards peak deadlifting because, again, it'd be really fucking cool to be able to say, yo, I've deadlifted 500 pounds. The trouble, too, with that is I'm not going to be able to do that peak deadlift here because I don't have enough weight. I think the max I can put on this bar is 405, 405, 435, 455, 465, 470. FM, good to see you. How long do these streams usually last? It's about time to wrap up. Usually they last between 2 and 3 hours. I usually work out the first 90 minutes to 2 hours of it, and then the final hour is usually, you know, abs, stretching, cooling down, just Q&A. Really, you know, how long specifically, if you want a more precise number, it depends on how active chat is. So that being said, I think we are more or less done here. So we're gonna look to rate someone. I think I'm gonna go with interactive fitness today. I haven't rated him in a while. So let's do that. I will be live again on Thursday afternoon. If you like what I do, please come check out my Discord channel. I've got a lot more on there. You can ask me all sorts of questions and advice, and go for that. Would you like to use your whiteboard to diagram your feeling about the CFP? Okay, I'll do that very, very shortly, very quickly. That's quite easy to do. I can do that very, very quickly. There you go. I'm an Aggie. What were you expecting me to say? There you go. Saw him off. I mean, look, Texas has a decent, if not perfect, argument to get in. First off, Michigan, they're in. I think because they won. Washington, they're in. They're undefeated. They won. Florida State, you might not like it because they got a hurt quarterback, but they've won all their games. They deserve to be in. Then you get to either Texas, Georgia, or Alabama. And see, the SEC teams don't understand this yet. As A&M fans, the only other SEC team that really understands what Texas is willing to do behind the scenes to get what it wants is maybe Arkansas. Arkansas gets it because they used to be Southwest Conference too. The point here is very simple. The rest of the SEC does not understand what's called the BOMC. Ask an Aggie, we say it's the burnt orange media complex. Ask a Longhorn, they'll say it's the burnt orange media conspiracy. The point remains that Texas has deep pockets. Deep pockets is deep, if not even deeper than A&M. The difference is, of course, Texas is a historical blue blood. They are historically a much stronger school, and Texas also has a lot more influence in the media than A&M does. And this can be given as an example here, because you've got, I think it's going to be Texas is the fourth one, and the SEC is going to get locked out. Just my opinion, because again, I know how the BOMC operates. But here's how I know. In 2020, even though Notre Dame only beat Clemson because Clemson had two quarterbacks, or they had their quarterback and a shit ton of people out with COVID, Notre Dame got in that fourth seed in 2020 over A&M, who I would argue had a better resume, and their loss was early. Yeah, it was to Alabama, but Alabama fucking steamrolled everyone that year. And Alabama parked the bus in the third quarter up by like 21 against Notre Dame and basically didn't do anything because they wanted to hide all of their play calls for Ohio State in the championship. By the way, in that championship game, Alabama beat Ohio State by the exact same score that they beat A&M 10 weeks earlier. So just a little bit more for you there. The difference, though, is Notre Dame's a blue blood. Notre Dame has media influence. Notre Dame has clout. Texas A&M, while it's an extremely big university, an extremely wealthy one, because of who we are historically and because of who we put out, right? A&M, we're an engineering college, we're a military, focused college. We do oil and gas, we do agriculture. We don't have a very big journalism program. We don't do media influence. It's just not who we are. The media doesn't tend to like us very much. It's also because A&M is a much more conservative college than most. Yeah, and look, this is statistically proven. The media tends to skew more progressive, more liberal. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just reality. Whereas Texas is a little bit more, I would say in general, first off, again, you've got the blue blood factor, and you've got better media relations. It's that simple. And you've got the same amount of money. But I promise you, Texas will get in. I don't like that. I really hope it doesn't happen. but Texas is getting in. They do not, the other SEC programs do not understand how Texas operates yet. They're going to see. The SEC has made a really, really big mistake by letting Texas into the conference, because I promise you, Texas does not consider themselves, they're unwilling to work as equals within a conference. They refuse to do it. They won't. It's the reason the Big 12 network didn't exist. You had the Longhorn network. Texas is incapable of acting as equals within a conference. They're just not going to do it. They weren't going to do it with Kansas State and Oklahoma State and Iowa State, and they're not going to do it with Mississippi State and Auburn and South Carolina. They're not going to do it. And everybody thinks, oh, Alabama and Georgia, for sure, they're going to stop Texas from that external influence. We're going to put that theory to the test today. I promise you. Look, I know this, okay? I'm an Aggie. I've seen how Texas operates. I'm not even criticizing them for it because it's effective. But the idea that Alabama and Georgia and LSU are somehow going to prevent Texas from doing their off-field shenanigans in the SEC the way they did in the Southwest and the Big 12 is laughable. And here's how I know. In 1996, when Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and for reasons that are really, really scummy, Baylor got into the Big 8 and formed the Big 12. Colorado was only a few years removed from a national championship, the way LSU is only a few years removed from a national championship now. Nebraska was at its peak dynasty power under the Osborne years. They won it all in 94. They won it all in 95, and I think they were very close to winning it all in 96. They did the same thing in 97. I think Michigan, it was like split between Michigan and Nebraska. Depending on who you talk to, there's one true champion there. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole because I don't really want either Michigan or Nebraska fans to crucify me for that one. The point remains is that Nebraska was at its peak heyday power. Oklahoma was really good those years too. Do you know what? That did not stop Texas from severing the annual Oklahoma-Nebraska game. Texas forced Oklahoma to choose one rivalry game per year. It was either them or it was Nebraska. And Oklahoma picked Texas. And Nebraska never forgave the conference for that. That's why they left in 2010. It is laughable to me to think Texas is somehow going to magically change their way of thinking and consider themselves equals in a conference with Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. It's not going to happen. Did you change your name? Oh, we're talking sports. Your boy Blue, good to see you. Texas is SEC next year, so they might have to settle for that. It's going to be Texas. I don't want it to be Texas. It's going to be Texas. Didn't Richard Nixon dub the Horns national championships in '69? Texas deep pockets, and yet women still can't get pockets for their dresses. That's funny. Could X go bankrupt under Elon Musk? I'm so happy Elon bought Twitter. Not because I think Elon's doing a good job or because I like Elon, but because Twitter needs to be destroyed. So I think Elon's doing a bang-up job on that one. Carry on, Elon. Okay. It is past 12, though, unless we've got... Did I change my name? I don't know the last time you were on here was. I changed my name to BullMuscle a lot of months ago, like 7 or 8 months ago, I think, at this point. So that maybe, I don't remember the last time you were in here, your boy Blue. So maybe if you were, if you haven't been in here since 2022, then yes, I did change my name. Change my name, shave the mustache. Anywho, we are going to raid, I think, at this point, interactive fitness. So we're going to go, God, my legs. Raid messages, Bull Rush. And we are going to go raid interactive fitness. Make sure I spelled that right. Yep, interactive fitness. He's pretty cool. We're going to rate him. Thank you all very much for coming out. Thank you. I know we had raiders from Benjamin Highlife. Thank you very, very much. For all the new followers, thank you for giving me that follow. For all the subscribers, thank you for that sub. If you want more, come check out the Discord. I will be live again on Twitch Thursday. So until then, if you want more, come check out the Discord. And as always, y'all, make good decisions. Good decisions form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values form an ethos, can be the guide star through the rough waters of life.
Y'all have a good time. Happy Advent. Bull hug. There we go. Oh. Twitch.
Man, something's up with this board. This is not coming out.
All right, YouTube, it's been fun. I'm in an incredible amount of pain right now. Catch you later.